money is a fascinating thing too. It's part of that emotional DNA. And so it's really all about, yeah, you inherit that stuff and it's there for a reason. It's trying to say to you, please let me be all that I'm supposed to be. And that's in your hands.
Hello, hello, Hill Squad. Welcome back to another episode here. We're excited to be with you today. We have an incredible guest that I have loved throughout the years. I've loved her books. I loved everything we've done with her, and she is back. Judy Wilkins-Smith. She is a highly regarded executive coach, transformational speaker, author, whose work is all about individual growth, and she's kind of mastered the art of helping others rewrite their emotional DNA. She is going to get into all of that. It's what we're going to be talking about today. Plus, how our genealogy can hold the keys to our emotional freedom, like those unexplained questions you have, the things you are like, did this happen? Why do I feel like this? But you have no answer. We're going to get the answers today. But first, our quote of the day: anything you do from a place of obligation gives no possibility for you to reach your highest potential. Ooh, mic drop from Judy Wilkins-Smith. Anything you do from a place of obligation gives no possibility for you to reach your highest potential. Ugh, because just the word obligation just sounds so heavy. So how can you fly? How can you soar? It's such a great point. Guys, I am so excited for our conversation with Judy. So let's get going. Hi, Judy. It's been a minute, but I was just telling the audience how excited I am. You're one of my favorite guests, and I've loved all of your books. I'm excited for your newest book, The Hidden Power in Your DNA. I'm really glad to have you back.
I'm glad to be back. Next time it's in person.
Yes, please. I would love that. So, Judy, last time you were here, you told us how to break free from our limiting family systems and even how to change our relationship with money. I remember that discussion very vividly, and I do believe that it made a difference in my life. So thank you for that. You taught us about how to change our relationship with our money by removing the scarcity mindset. And then you've explored since how we can use our genealogy to break our inherited emotional patterns. So first of all, what is an inherited emotional pattern? And is that real?
Oh, it's real. So first thing is, it's super real. And what it looks like is this: you inherit your physical DNA. Everybody knows that. They don't even think about it. You don't think about why your hair is brown, why your eyes are the way they are, why you're tall, short, any of those. It's there. It's a given. Yes, it's studied. So is emotional DNA. Emotional DNA is your patterns of thoughts, feelings, and actions. And we inherit those. And we inherit those in a number of ways, epigenetically or by word of mouth. And either way, a lot of it is to do with the emotion that accompanies what we're inheriting. So will we take it on and repeat it? Or are we going to look at that and go, no? And sometimes, somebody said to me yesterday, my mother's amazing. I'm learning how to be a parent by doing everything that she didn't. And I said to them, sometimes that's really the way it happens. We look at a mother who's working so hard and we go, I'm not doing that, I'm getting an education. We look at a mother who may have struggled to parent because she wasn't parented. And then the choice becomes, so what are we going to do? So we're very much more able to do something than we imagine. And those are your inherited emotional patterns. And it influences every aspect of your life. Yes, including money, which, by the way, is going to be my new book. I'm busy writing it at the moment. Because money is a fascinating thing too. It's part of that emotional DNA. And so it's really all about, yeah, you inherit that stuff and it's there for a reason. It's trying to say to you, please let me be all that I'm supposed to be. And that's in your hands.
Wait, okay, so that just finally connected. Because when you said money is inherited, that DNA, that pattern, it's so true in my case, because there was so much scarcity. My dad, it was always like, we don't have any money, we don't have any money, we don't have any money, we don't have any money. So we never had any money. in whether we did or we didn't have any money.
You didn't have any money. Yeah,
And
exactly right.
that was all I heard. That was all I understood.
Yeah.
Now, they had money. They had some, but they just had to keep saying they don't have any because they needed to squirrel away whatever they had to make sure they could provide. So whatever I wanted, I couldn't have because it was
We
not.
don't have any money.
It was
Your
not a
systemic
need.
sentence. Boom.
Yeah, it wasn't a must. And so in my adult life, I mean, and I made a tremendous amount of money. I didn't have any money.
I love that you said that. It's the most beautiful example of that, because here's the deal. If you've had that imprinted on your patternology that comes all the way through, you could have millions in front of you and you will still not be able to see it or accept it, and you won't be able to see the money opportunities because we don't have any money. And we're so loyal to those patterns subconsciously that until we become consciously aware and then go, wait, this is not working for me, it keeps echoing through.
Yeah. Well, and it's fascinating because it makes no sense. An outsider would look in and be like, she's crazy. But I was so afraid. And it was when we worked together. And I remember you teaching us to say, I love money, because we were scared even to think that that was okay, because that made us a bad person to want more. Absolutely. And all of that. And so I remember that vividly. And from then on, I really started to change my relationship with money. I was like, no, I deserve this. I'm working hard and I want more, and I'm okay with that. And so I also have like shifted my meditations to, I want to work as little as possible and make the most amount of money.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing about money is, for many of us, I won't say for everybody, but for many of us, when the money comes, what do you want to do with that?
I like to save it and spend it. It's a little bit of both.
And share it. So it's the save, spend,
Oh, shit.
share.
Yeah, the share part too, guys. Sorry.
But we do that. The more that we have, the more we breathe and the more we're able to share. And so it grows, and money likes to grow around people who like it. It will show up for you the way that you show up for it. And I think the most important thing about money is it is not a commodity. It is a relationship. The way you show up for it is the way it will show up for you. So for you, it was, we don't have any, we don't have any, we don't. It was ducking and diving and coming in with, we don't have any. Yeah.
So how do you explain the fact that I've made a tremendous amount of money throughout my lifetime and still carried that belief?
Because you're being loyal to the system, and we're very loyal to our family system. So we will find a way to be in truth with that, as well as what we want to do. For you, the bridging sentence may well be, we don't have money to waste, or we have lots of money, but we don't have money to waste. It's something that'll keep.
Well, if you think about it, what did I just say earlier? It was, they had it, but we couldn't, nothing was a must, nothing was a need.
Exactly.
And so for me, I would get to the place, I've told this before, I wouldn't even buy a water at 7-Eleven because I knew I was going home and it was free. I'm like, that's a waste of money.
There's your deeper systemic sentence. Don't waste. Don't waste money. If you waste money, we will not have money. So that was the second sentence. Mm-hmm. The first one is don't waste money. And then if you look back at where that came from, there would have been an event or a global event that went, there isn't money. There is no money. Everybody hold on to your money. Watch out what you're doing because there is no money. Don't waste. So your bottom line is actually, we don't waste. If there's money coming out of the faucet, I'm plenty good with that. I do not need to go and buy a 7-Eleven thing. And then I will tell myself, because there are microplastics and it was extra money I didn't need to spend, and I've got to throw that away.
So that's really fascinating, because I also remember my dad always saying, if it was up to mommy, we wouldn't have anything, because she spend and he would save. And then I ended up in a relationship where Kevin spends and I save. And I had to deprive myself a lot to balance out. Now, it's not like he was buying Bentleys and stuff, but to me, he was overspending in a sense, right?
Right.
And any spending was going to feel reckless to me probably. But I mean, now he admits he's been a little bit overboard, but that's just
So
a
you
different
took
story.
on dads.
Yeah.
You took on dads. He took on moms. Oh, good. And the two made a perfect marriage that you understood very, very well.
Yes.
Because you're the one who's going to save it. And you're going to keep saying, we don't have money, we don't have money, we don't have money. Because hopefully that's going to stop him from spending all the darn money so you won't have money.
Judy, if you were in the meetings with my business managers over the years, that's exactly how it's gone. I'm like, we don't have any money. We don't have any. And I would create the scenario in a sense to make him think that so that he would stop spending.
There you go. Yes, we've got to be in loyalty with dad. Oh yeah.
Wow. So I recreated the same family dynamic. I inherited that family DNA. So it's not that like that belief will block you from having money.
Well, it can eventually because it's an and here's why. And it's interesting to understand. It's an old pattern. Patterns are wonderful. They're usually an antidote for something that's happened. So something has happened. Here's how we can fix that. The problem is if you keep doing that, it becomes useless. And then it becomes a problem. And now it becomes a problem of you saying we have no money and Kevin going, what are you talking about? Well, we have no money. Now you've got to find a new sentence that really fits. Once upon a time, we had no money. Then we really did have money, but we were careful with money. Now we're careful with money and we do have money. So you're able to bridge yourself over to that. And then the next thing is, so being careful with the money we have, how do we want to spend that? What is yours and what is mine? And then you have to have an agreement, Maria, that you will spend some. Because otherwise, you're going to grow up a little girl and she's going to, and I will tell you, my daughter, by the way, is adopted. So you would think she wouldn't inherit it, forget it, because you've got nurture versus nature, which is hanging in there. And so you've got to teach her, we have money. Mm-hmm. And we're very good with our money. Ooh. Some get saved and some get spent. So we have this that gets saved so that we always have money. But this is our playing. We're allowed to play here. We're allowed to spend this because money can also bring joy. We can interact and partner with money to bring great joy. And that's how you start to heal that old sentence that worked over here, but is no longer relevant here, because otherwise money can't grow with you.
Wow. I love redefining your relationship with money, because what did help, and it was between you and then I think even I did some somatic therapy around this, that was them. That was not me. That was their scenario. That was them.
That belongs to you, mom and dad, not me.
Yes.
I have very loyally held it in my body. Now I've got to put it down with you because I have to be the one to change the money DNA. I have a child and she needs to know what to do with that money DNA. So I've got to teach really, really well how I want it to be a happy space for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also remember at some point, I was so kind of just, I didn't want to work anymore. And Kevin was like, it's because you're not spending any money. You don't feel the value of what you're doing. So then he's like, you're going shopping. And he took me shopping and I bought all this stuff that I would never spend money on. And then from there, I got better. I've gotten better. When I want something, I buy something. Even when it's like, oh no, I would never buy this. Because I'll go out and I'll buy everyone else for Christmas. I'll go and buy them all fancy things. And then there'll be something I want. And I'm like, nope. You're already spending so much right now. And then finally I was like, no, you know what? I'm buying that for myself too. I'm buying myself a Christmas gift because it always works out. And that was my new line. It always works out. And part of it, I do believe sometimes people are sent to teach you. So I think that Kevin being fearless, now maybe it was a little too far. And that's where he's at now, trying to figure out his, boundary there. Him being fearless and it always working out, I finally had to look at it and say, well, it always is working out. So that was my new line. It was like, it always works out. I'm fine. Money always comes. And you also taught me to say money is always flowing. Like it's got to flow in and out. Money is
always flowing. Yeah. And also for you, when you start to get yourself skittish, there is a place that you can go to. I want that thing. I really want that thing. And if I'm really skittish, what else can I invest in? Because then it means I'm actually parking some that's growing and I'm going to have that. This is not reckless. and I've done something that's responsible. So you can actually buddy yourself through that.
I love that. So that's a really cool example I didn't expect to pop up to teach people a little bit about inherited DNA. Is there anything else that you can share with people who may not have that same issue that maybe they can connect with?
Oh, just about anything you can think of. Let's go to relationships. One of my favorites, I think, was I was in Austin, and one of the people, so I was doing a live event, and one of the people at the live event said, well, I'd like to work. And I said, sure, come on in. So she came and sat next to me, and I said, what are we working with? And she said, well, I'm about to divorce my idiot of a husband. And idiot of a husband was sitting in the audience. I'm like, oh, this is going to go well.
Ooh.
So I said to her, okay, so tell me about your idiot of a husband. She said, well, I have to divorce him because he's so stupid. So I said to her, okay, what has he done? Well, he's just reckless. By the way, it came back to, he's so reckless, he spends money. And so I said to her, okay, tell me about your mom. Well, my mother had to divorce all three of her idiot husbands because they were so stupid. And I went, okay, so now we've got two lots of idiot husbands. So I said to her, okay, tell me about your grandmother. Oh, that was the ultimate. She had to divorce the first idiot and two after that. So I said to her, wait, stop. How many husbands, is this your first husband? No, it's number 3. And so I set them all up for her, so the women and 3 husbands for each one. And I said to her, okay, let's just take a look. Stand back and have a look. And she looks, she goes, is there a pattern? And I started laughing. I said to her, it's interesting how when we're in the middle of it, we cannot see it. Mm-hmm. So this husband was making very good money, but any time, because with grandmother, he lost the family fortune, the original. And so there it is, boom.
Trauma.
We've got the idiot husband who lost the family fortune that belonged to her. And so she had to divorce him, married 2 lots, but any time there was even a sniff of, we're going to spend the money unwisely, we divorced them. And so I said to her, but hold on, this one's actually got his own money. She said to me, you may have a point. I said to her, okay, so can you park that back with grandma and tell her, look, this is now starting to affect my love life here. We have a problem. I have a relationship. I'm repeating 3 down here. And can you actually look at the men and say, I see you. Your grandfather was disinherited or pushed out of the family. Can you say to him, I see you, and give him his place and all of the other men? And now can you look at your own husband and say to him, hey, you have your own money. You've done well. It appears you're not an idiot. She said to me, oh, that's nice. He can stay.
No way. It was that easy.
It was that easy. And this is why I love doing the in-person pieces, because when you can actually see it in front of you, it's like the body gets it. All of your senses begin to engage and it starts to rewire. And as you rewire, you go, oh, yeah, no, that's really not mine anymore. And suddenly it can shift. Yeah, and your emotional DNA can grow.
That's why conversations with people outside of your, friends and stuff, a therapist or an expert of sorts, is so important, because they will give you insight that you can't get on your own sometimes. Like, I had dinner last night with a friend, and she was telling me about a moment where her and her husband were having troubles, and her mom had just died, and all these things, her best friend, there's just a pile of stuff. And she went away on a retreat to Canyon Ranch, and she did all the different therapies. And the therapist had such interesting perspective in her relationship that she never thought of. It was just like you just did, just a quick twist of some thoughts. And it was like, oh, I never thought about it like that. Okay, I feel good now. I feel like I can move forward with this. And because sometimes your friends are there just to kind of rub your back and be like, oh yeah, he sucks. He is an idiot.
Absolutely. Exactly.
That's why I always say, be careful who you ask advice from. Either they have different motivations, or they don't have really great advice, or they're just going to rub your shoulders because that's the easiest thing to do. But that's why I really think seeking counsel is so important in these moments.
I think seeking counsel is super important. And I think when you can see it in 3D, it has such an instant wow, that you can watch people almost rock on their heels because they're seeing it, feeling it, talking to it, touching it. And yes, then their perspective or systemic sentence or systemic language is sitting in front of them, and somebody walks in and goes, okay, but, and tweaks it 1 degree, and they go, oh. And suddenly the lid comes off, and you're not loyal to that anymore because somebody just said to you, look at it this way.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
It really is.
And it then amplifies that human potential.
So cool. Well, friends, before we continue on with Judy, and thank you for not fast forwarding because this is how we keep the lights on and do what we do and bring you this great content. One of my friends recently, who I have been promising I was going to take shopping for a new executive wardrobe. I told her I was going to take her to Macys. She was so shocked when I showed her all of the adorable outfits that I've put together from Macys over the last 2 years. Because she was like, we're going to go to Macys. I go, yeah, I've got the best stuff from there and we have amazing deals. And so I put a post together on Instagram if you guys want to check it out, because I was really proud of all the looks as well. But seriously, I really do love finding so many cute pieces at Macys. And here's the thing, their men's stuff is just as good. Kevin is a big fan. Right now, they're having their men's wardrobe sale where you can get 25 to 60% off. 25 to 60% off items like suits from Calvin Klein. Kevin just got his Calvin Klein suit for Macys last year for Athena's baptism. And Michael Kors, shoes from Cole Haan, sportswear from Tommy Hilfiger. I just got Athena a really cute little Tommy Hilfiger dress. We went shopping the other day at Macys and we had so much fun. They had this big, I don't know if it was a big whale statue, and she was going down the body of it like a slide and did not want to leave. It was hilarious, but I got so many cute looks for her too. But that's a side note. The men's sale is going on right now and it is amazing. We want our guys to look as fashionable as us, but you can shop the men's wardrobe sale right now until May 18th in store or at Macys.com. And like I said, don't forget the kids stuff because they have so many cute things. But I wonder, what are some of the subtle signs that epigenetic emotional markers might be activating in someone's life?
So with the epigenetic, with any of them for that matter, but the epigenetic ones are the ones where you will hear somebody say, I have been depressed all my life. I've been angry all my life. I've been scared all my life. That's when I start to ask for the history. Because when we go into the history, if they have it, it means that begins to show up as the precipitating or triggering event. So what was the triggering event that created this hugely emotional piece that was so emotional that it created that imprint on your genome that meant it affected the way that your genes are expressed? But it's idiosyncratic. It's like somebody coming in and saying, so-and-so eats custard at the breakfast table. I think I'm going to kill them, which is a little odd, until we discover that something happened at a breakfast table with custard and there really is a good reason. So it's idiosyncratic, also inflated. I had somebody come in, first time I met her, she comes rushing in, slams her stuff down on the desk and says, oh my goodness, I was almost decimated. I had the most horrific morning. It was totally catastrophic. I was nearly killed by my supervisor. I can't believe it. It just burned. And I looked at her and I said to her, what happened? She said, well, I was a little bit late. My supervisor was cross. And I said, no, wait. Those two aren't exactly what you said in the first go around. And I said to her, do you have catastrophic events in your family or burning events? And she said, no. Oh, yes, there was one. My mother and I outran a volcano. My brother and father did not.
Wait, what happened to the mother and the daughter?
The mother and daughter outran a volcano.
Oh.
The brother and the father did not.
No.
So there's the burn, there's the catastrophic, there's the, oh my goodness, I'm being decimated. The whole lot's there. So when people start to either hyperreact and you can't figure out what the deal is, or they start to use inflated language, very often This is a systemic piece or an epigenetic piece that's surfacing because it's trying to get attention. It wants you to know that it's looking to change.
Wow.
Yeah, I
So,
love it when people lose it all over the place and everybody's going, what's happening? I'm like, oh, good, here we go. This is going to be fun.
yeah, because you can investigate and go back. We've done some of that work together, I know, because
Right.
like one of the things that one of my patterns was I've always been afraid. I've never felt safe. And so when you kind of look back, whether it's the women in my family weren't safe
Right.
for a multitude of reasons, or I wasn't safe in my home in different realities, that's carried on. But then when we went deeper and we looked at two of my dad's siblings were, died very young, and there was murders and all kinds of crazy stuff that happened. You're like, oh, okay, there's a lot that's been carried down, a lot of different traumas that definitely get imprinted and they get carried in through. And I remember you even had me with my mom's first baby that was strangled on Christmas and died. You had me put a picture of her so she could see out and not have to live through me. There was like a whole thing
That's
like
right.
that. Yeah.
And there's another piece for you in what you said now. There has been not safety for all of the women or for many people in your family. The reason it comes down to you is, can I be the safety? I am the safety in my family, which is beautiful. So very often what looks horrific sets you up with a purpose in life. Yours is, I am safety. I create safety. I'm creating safety for my child. I am a safe place. So all of that then has fired up and you can look at that and say, thank you. Because of all the lack of safety, I've learned to become the safe place. This is my purpose.
But how do you get there? Like, I am there now, but I don't know if it's inadvertent, because my German Shepherd definitely made me feel safe for the first time in my life. And even without him, I have not felt unsafe since. I feel safe.
Now, I
And
am the safety is your next step. Not just I feel safe.
okay,
I am the safety. I bring the safety.
okay,
Safety starts here.
okay.
How do you get that? You look at, I always say to people, look at where you really feel stuck, wounded, injured, any anger, whatever it is, but where you're tight. Because that is, it's saying to you, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. I need you to to show me how I can be the very best version of not this. And so when you flip that around, instead of not safe, you are the safety. Instead of not belonging, you would be the one who creates belonging. Instead of all the anger, you're the peaceful one. You look at that and you go, oh, I know what my job is. I know what my purpose is. I'm the bringer of that which wasn't in the family. Or I am the difference of that which was in the family. And that becomes very much purpose, which allows your emotional DNA again to evolve in a very healthy way. And it doesn't matter if it's the German Shepherd or what it is that brings it. Something allows you to go, I am safe. And then it allows you to go, I am the safety. So you take that extra step.
But for somebody who's listening, who's like, but I don't feel safe, and just saying it isn't going to make me feel safe.
Just saying it will never make you feel safe. So very important. Thank you. What you go looking for is what is the corresponding elevated emotion that you need to attach to that. In other words, if you were to feel safe, what would that feel like? And to actually be able to go there and feel it, it would feel happy. I would feel relaxed. Can you feel that? Good. That is what it looks like in your body. Then you say, I am safe, using that elevated emotion. And when you can lock that in, that's when it becomes a reality. So your brain has to tell your body a story that your body believes. It's got to have buy-in. And we do that all the time, because I know a lot of people say to me, how? Well, you do that all the time, except you do that the other way around. I'm not safe, I'm not safe. I feel terrible. My body's reacting. You're very good at it. It's just training yourself to do it both ways. I'm safe. I'm happy. I'm relaxed. I've got the German Shepherd next to me. I've got my husband next to me. I've got my life is good. When you can internalize that, then you start to rewire your brain because we think in layers. So you say that, you feel that, and then something happens and somebody comes past you, go, see, of course I'm safe. So you start to add those layers, or somebody comes in and says, it's so nice to be around you, it's safe, and you go, see, of course I'm safe. So we build our layers. So it's really teaching ourselves to say what it is, but feel it all the way through, and then add the layers where we can. And really make that a truth.
I like the layers because what you're saying is what I've learned with Dr. Joe Dispenza is if you feel the feeling, if you match the emotion and the feeling,
exactly that.
Yeah, basically your brain doesn't know the difference between what you're experiencing for real and what you're thinking you're experiencing. So you can trick your body to produce the chemicals to support what you want. But what I like about the layers is almost like the little rewards that help keep you on that path and help accelerate that feeling. So for example, where I've never felt safe, I would pay attention to the layers where people say, oh my God, I just told you things that I've never told anybody. Do you know how many times, if I had a penny for every time someone said or confided in me in a way that they've never confided in anyone, right, and I could be a total stranger or I could be, an acquaintance, that would mean that I'm safe, that I'm a safe person.
You're a safe place. You're a safe place, and you're wanting to feel that safety. And the more you tell yourself that, the more those layers that it's like if I said to you, you're really stupid. And then you walk out the door and you do something, you go, she was right, I'm really stupid. And something else happens, you go, see, yeah, just you're actually proving to yourself by adding layers.
Yeah, you're attracting more.
Truth. Yeah. And you keep pulling those in. You keep noticing, gosh, I really am safe. That was good. I felt super good about that. I'm safe. This is good. And before you know it, that becomes a neural pathway that locks in, and then it locks into your body. And now instead of cascading those other hormones, you're cascading all the happy, healthy hormones, and you're able to do what the universe, I think, would love us to do, which is take a breath and relax. And you're going, I'm safe, I'm relaxed. But you're adding those layers of confirmation all the time.
Yeah.
So the layers of confirmation really help.
Yeah, I really, really love that. I think that's really key for us to kind of build that. It's almost like building another muscle. One of the things that's also helped me is what good has come from all the worry? None of it has actually happened. All the things that I'm fearing haven't happened, and I've just exhausted myself and made myself sick. And if I had known this when I was younger, that the body is in fight or flight every time you're worrying, and that the body cannot sustain fight or flight for long until now it starts to break down bit by bit by bit. Starts with an autoimmune condition, then it ends up in cancer and, continues from there. I would hopefully have gotten my head screwed on straight, but I think it's one of those things we just take for granted and we don't pay attention to.
Don't realize the full impact. And I think there's one piece that I use a lot that is helpful. Instead of worrying, remind yourself, I can figure this out. I may not have the answer now, but I can figure this out. When you activate your figure it out gene, life becomes a lot easier. It doesn't matter what you're in the middle of, you can figure it out.
Yeah.
Just remind yourself you've got that bridge.
Yeah, I love that. Judy, why don't we take a quick break and then let's come back tomorrow, friends, for part 2 of our conversation. She's going to tell us about her latest concept, Genealogy 3.0. It's a powerful framework that can help us connect the physical and emotional remnants of our ancestors to better understand our own emotional identity. She's going to help us decode those invisible family patterns and help us turn them into personal power. Also, friends, don't forget, you can join our Patreon for a very small amount. You can access ad-free episodes, exclusive heal events that we do monthly that are so fun with our community, led by our incredible healers and guests on the show. Bonus content, gifts, and more. I've linked how to get access to the Heal Squad Patreon in the show notes. In the meantime, Be nice people, make good choices, and be present. Hey, Heal Squad. We have been on quite the journey together, and we're hearing from so many of you just how much this show is helping you heal and get better, and it makes us feel so good. We love, love, love it, and we just ask that you don't keep it to yourself. Spread the message and share the show or your favorite episode with your friends. And if you want to help us even more, you can leave us a 5-star rating and a comment on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and follow us on Instagram at Heal Squad. You can also DM us anytime because we love connecting with you. And finally, you can also join us on Patreon for our monthly live heal events with world-class healers and ad-free episodes exclusive only to Patreon and our Super Heal Squad for as little as $10 a month. So go to patreon.com/Heal Squad to join. Getting better isn't easy, friends, but as I say all the time, it's a whole lot easier if we can do it together. We love you all so much, and we love doing this thing called life with you.
This podcast and all related content published or distributed by or on behalf of Maria Menounos or MariaMenounos.com is for informational purposes only and may include information that is general in nature and that is not specific to you. Any information or opinions expressed or contained herein are not intended to serve as or replace medical advice, nor to diagnose, prescribe, or treat any disease, condition, illness, or injury, and you should consult the healthcare professional of your choice regarding all matters concerning your health, including before beginning any exercise, weight loss, or healthcare program. If you have or suspect you may have a healthcare emergency, please contact a qualified healthcare professional for treatment. Any information or opinions provided by a guest expert or host featured within website or on company's podcast are their own, not those of Maria Menounos or the company. Accordingly, Maria Menounos and the company cannot be responsible for any results or consequences or actions you may take based on information or opinions.